Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the McKinley High School Color Guard and the posting of the colors. And please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem, performed by Performing Arts High School and directed by Ms. Karen Saxon.
Whoa, mark. Color. Halt. Requesting permission to post color.
Please post the colors.
Post. Ready, hold.
Good morning, and welcome to the 111th Richmond Speaking Contest of the Buffalo Public Schools, one of the oldest public speaking contests in our country. At this time, I want to thank parents, teachers, coaches for all the work that you have done to ensure our students are successful today and every day. I would like to recognize our Board of Education members. At this time, Mrs. Sharon Belton-Cotman, Vice President of Executive Affairs. Thank you. And our President of the Board of Education, Dr. Barbara Sills-Nevergold. I would also like to recognize our Chief of Staff who's in the audience today, Mr. Darren Brown. And without further ado, I would like to welcome our wonderful Superintendent, Dr. Kreiner Cash, for his opening remarks. Thank you.
Good morning. We'll keep it brief because the speaking stars this morning are our fantastic students. But certainly I want to acknowledge and thank a few of our fabulous teachers and students once again. Certainly Miss Karen Saxon does such a terrific job with her students. Can we give them another round of applause? And no one is better at the color guard than McKinley High School under the long-standing and terrific leadership of Master Sergeant Joseph Dugan. He's the best. Thank you. We thank our esteemed board members for participating and being here. Dr. Nevergold, as president, is one of our judges, and Ms. Sharon Belton-Cotman is here as Vice President of Executive Affairs. So we thank their participation this morning. And then doing a very fabulous job for us all the time on a number of really important district-wide initiatives is Dr. Fatima Morrell. I want to give her a big round of applause. All right, to the students, this is a big deal. It takes a lot of courage to come and speak in front of the public. So public speaking skills go a long way in your school career and in life. Anyone who can be clear and articulate, speak well, give their voice emphasis, it serves you well in public speaking, in government, in business, and it's a highly, highly sought after skill. So we're proud that you have the courage to come here this morning and present. 25 students across the school system, 7th and 8th grade. Really, we're excited to be here. This is one of the oldest public speaking contests in the country, Richmond Speaking Contest. So thank you to all the organizers. Thank you to the teachers and the coaches of our wonderful students, and let's have a great day. Thank you.
We've already introduced our first judge, our board president, Dr. Barbara Sills-Nevergold. I would also like to recognize our judges, Mr. Rod Watson from the Buffalo News. Mr. Rod Watson. And also Dr. Thomas Ramming, professor at University at Buffalo. Let's recognize Dr. Thank you so much. And at this time, I would like to welcome Dr. Romaine, Director of English Language Arts and the leader of this great initiative, the Richmond Speaking Contest. Thank you, Dr. Romaine.
Welcome to the 111th Richmond Speaking Contest. A few rules before we start. As a designated chairperson, I must remind you to silence your cell phones. Students will be identified by letter only until all judges' ballots have been tabulated. At the end of each speaker's speech, there is no applause. I will cue you at the end of the first speaker and remind you. Please make sure that you give every speaker in the contest your perfect attention. The audience is the most important part of this contest. You help each speaker do his or her best. I now commence the 111th Richmond Speaking Contest. Speaker A, please take the stage.
Shatter steel, but they cannot dent the steel of American resolve. America is targeted for attack because their greatest people for freedom and opportunity in the world. And no one can keep that away from China. Today, our nation's like evil, the very worst of human nature, and we respond with the best of America. With the daring of our rescue workers, with the caring for strangers and neighbors, love, help in any way that we could.
know we share this pain with all of the people of our country. This is truly a national loss. 19 years ago, almost to the day, we lost 3 astronauts in a terrible accident on the ground. But we've never lost an astronaut in flight. We've never had a tragedy like this. And perhaps we've forgotten the courage it took for the crew of the shuttle. But they, the Challenger 7, were aware of the dangers, but overcame them and did their jobs brilliantly. We mourn 7 heroes: Michael Smith, Dick Scobie, Judith Rasnick, Ronald McNair, Ellison Onizuka, Gregory Jarvis, and Christian McAuliffe. We mourn their loss as a nation together. For the families of the 7, we cannot bear as you do the full impact of this tragedy, but we feel the loss, and we're thinking about you so very much. Your loved ones were daring and brave, and they had that special grace, that special spirit that says, "Give me a challenge, and I'll meet it with joy." They had a hunger to explore the universe and discover its truths. They wished to serve, and they did. They served all of us. We've grown used to wonders in this century. It's hard to dazzle us, but for 25 years, the United States space program has been doing just that. We've grown used to the idea of space, and perhaps we forgot that we've only just begun. We're still pioneers. They, the members of the Challenger crew, were pioneers. And I want to say something to the school children of America who are watching the live coverage of the shuttle's takeoff. I know it is hard to understand, but sometimes painful things like this can happen. It's all part of the process of exploration and discovery. It's all part of taking a chance and expanding man's horizon. The future doesn't belong to the faint-hearted, it belongs to the brave. The Challenger crew was pulling us into the future, and we'll continue to follow them. I've always had great faith and respect for our space program, and what happened today does nothing to diminish it. We don't hide our space program. We don't keep secrets and cover things up. We do it all up front and in public. That's the way freedom is, and we wouldn't change it for a minute. We'll continue our quest in space. There will be more shuttle flights, more shuttle crews, and yes, more volunteers, more civilians, more teachers in space. Nothing ends here. Our hopes and our journeys continue. I want to add that I wish I could talk to every man and woman working for NASA or who worked in this mission and tell them, your dedication and professionalism has moved and impressed us for decades. And we know of your anguish. We share it. There's a coincidence today. On this day, 390 years ago, the great explorer Sir Francis Drake died aboard ship off the coast of Panama. In his lifetime, the great frontier were the oceans. And the historian later said, he lived by the sea, died on it, and was buried in it. Well, today we can say of the Challenger crew, your dedication was like Drake's, complete. The crew of the Space Shuttle Challenger honored us by the manner in which they lived their whole lives. We'll never forget them, nor the last time we saw them. This morning, as they prepared for the journey and waved goodbye and slipped the sorely bond of earth to touch the face of God. That's it.
Thank you, Speaker C. Or B. Speaker C, please take the stage.
I'm going to be reading an excerpt from Steve Jobs' How to Live Before You Die. When I was 17, I read a quote that went something like, if you live each day as if it was your last, someday you'll most certainly be right. It made an impression on me. And every day for the past 33 years, I looked in the mirror and asked myself, if today were the last day of your life, what you want to do, what you're gonna do today. And whenever the answer has been no for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something. Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've encountered to help me make big choices in life. Because almost everything, all external expectations, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure just fade away in the face of death, leaving what's truly important. Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You're already naked. There's no reason not to follow your heart. About a year ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. I had a scan at 7:30 in the morning, and it clearly showed a tumor on my pancreas. I didn't even know what a pancreas was. The doctors advised me to go home and get my affairs in order, which is doctor's code for prepare to die. It means try to tell your family something you thought you had the next 10 years to tell them in just a few months. It means make sure everything is all buttoned up so it'll be easy as possible for your family. It means say your goodbyes. I lived with that diagnosis all day. Later that evening, I had a biopsy where they stuck an endoscope down my throat, in my stomach, and into my intestines to collect a few cells from the tumor. I was sedated, but my husband, who was there, told me that when the doctors viewed the cells under the microscope, they started crying, because it turned out to be a very rare form of pancreatic cancer that could be cured with surgery. I had the surgery, and I'm fine now. That was the closest I've ever been to facing death, and I hope it's the closest I get for a few more decades. Having lived through it, I can now say this to you with a bit more certainty. Death is an intellectual concept. No one wants to die. Even the people that want to go to heaven don't want to die to get there. Yet, it's a destination we all share. No one has escaped it. And that is how it should be. Death is life's new change agent. It clears out the old and makes way for the new. Right now, you're the new. But soon, not too long from now, you'll be cleared away like the old. Sorry to be so dramatic, but it's quite true. Your time is limited. Don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living in the results of other people's thinking. And most importantly, have the courage and intuition to follow your heart. It somehow already knows what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary.
Thank you, Speaker C.
I'm doing Psalms 119, 100, and 122. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all ye lands. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before him with singing. Know ye that the Lord, he is our God. It is that he hath made us, not we ourselves, we as people, and the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving, and into his courts with praise. Come before him and bless his name. For the Lord is good, his mercy is everlasting, and his truth endureth to all generations. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me. In the presence of my enemies, you anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I lift up my eyes to the mountains and ask, where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. He will watch over your life. The Lord watches over your comings and goings, both now and forevermore. I rejoice with those who said to me, let us go into the house of the Lord. Our feet are standing in your gates of Jerusalem. Jerusalem is built like a city that is closely compacted together. That is where the tribes go up, the tribes of the Lord, to praise the name of the Lord. According to the statute given to Israel, there stand the thrones for judgment, the thrones of the house of David. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you be secure. May there be peace within your walls and security within your citadels. For the sake of my family and friends, I will say peace be within you. For the sake of the house of the Lord, our God, I will seek your prosperity.
They say I'm not the average black girl because I'm so well spoken, poised, full of etiquette, a white man's token. You know, I remember my ex's mother telling me I didn't know how I was going to react when he brought home a black girl, but I like you because you talk so white. Well, when did me talking right equate to me talking white? They say I'm not the average black girl. No, not the average black girl, because the pigment of my skin is a shade lighter than that black girl over there. You know the black girl over there. The black girl with the nappy hair. The black girls whose elbows can't skip a day without lotion. Whose hearts and heads are filled with self-hate and bottled up emotion. The cocoa brown girls who have to face society every day and be tough, because no matter how good they straighten their hair, their good is still not good enough. Oh, but see, luckily for me, I don't fall in that category. See, they say I'm not the average black girl because I speak with so much class, and I don't have too much but just enough to pass, and not too much but just enough pizzazz. You know, just a little bit of attitude, because you don't want to come off as one of those average black girls and come off as rude. You know, popping their gums and shaking their necks. Yeah, because those black girls get like no respect. But see, luckily for me, I get a pass. Because the millennium in my skin matches that brown paper bag. And my father, brother, and men that I date, pants don't sag. And when I speak, my tongue pronounces every syllable. And the comb that part down the middle of my hair is naturally visible. Oh, it must be a weave, or she must be mixed, because we all know the average black girl ain't got that good mix. Or while I walk into a room full of white men, they all stare. It must be the length of my unaverage black girl hair. See, they say I'm not the average black girl because I corrected the professor when he used the word conversate. Converse. The word is converse. And if you didn't get the memo, there are now 8, not 9 planets in the universe. And when you're watching the numbers on your stock move up and down, remember Oklahoma, in a small town, where one of the first Wall Streets was a black Wall Street that got mysteriously burned down. Oh, they say I'm not the average black girl. Well, let's flip the script and rewind this quick, repaint the lines that have been blurred over time, because the average black girl that I know made 19 trips through the Underground Railroad to free the slaves. Sat on segregated buses, refused to get up and pave new waves. See, the average black girl that I know were Egyptian queens like Hatshepsut and Needlecris, who were ruling dynasties and whole armies of men. Excuse me while I set fire to this poem of my pen, because I am tired. Tired of the stereotypes black girls have fallen into because of American mentality. Oh, but not half as tired as Ella Baker, Diane Nash, Septima Clark. I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. Miss Fannie Lou Hamer, Daisy Bate, Anna Arnold Hedgeman, and Dorothy Height are far more tired than I am. But do you think the people who say I'm not the average black girl even give a man? No. So pardon me if I can't openly accept your compliments. Pardon me if I can't openly accept your compliment. It's just the average black girl that I know. The
average black girl I know had courage that surpassed her fear and fought for justice and equality year after year. So as I conduct these words, pardon me as I shed a tear, because I'm not half the black girl she was. I'm not half the black girl she was. See, there's a minor cause. She was out there fighting, breaking, and changing laws, so I bowed down to my black queen standing in the merit of her work. And as American society continuously throws these supercilious words unto me, I say no. I'm not the average black girl. I can only aspire to be. Thank you.
If you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, and it will encourage you to do another task, and another, and another, and another. And by the end of the day, that one task completed will have turned into many tasks completed. Making your bed will also reinforce the fact that the little things in life matter to you. And if you can't do the little things right, you'll never be able to do the big things right. And if by chance you have a miserable day, you come home to a bed that is made, that you made. And a made bed gives you encouragement that tomorrow will be better. To pass SEAL training, there's a series of long swim that must be completed. One is the night swim. Before the night swim, the instructor joyfully briefs the students on all of the species of shark that inhabit the water of San Clemente. They are showing, however, that no student has ever been eaten by a shark, at least not they can remember. But you're also taught that if the shark begins to circle your position, stand your ground, do not swim away, do not act afraid. And if the shark, hungry for a midnight snack, darts towards you, then summon up all your strength and punch him in the snout, and he will turn and swim away. There are a lot of sharks in the world, so if you hope to complete the swim, you will have to deal with them. SEAL training was over 3 weeks of difficult training. My SEAL class, which started with 150 men, was down to just 42. I was in the boat with the toughest guys. There were now 6 boat crews of 7 men each. But the best boat crew we had was made up of little guys, the Munchkin crew we called them. No one was over 5'5". The Munchkin crew had one American Indian, one African American, one Polish American, one Italian American, one Greek American, and 2 other tough kids from the Midwest. They out-paddled, outran, and outswam all the other boat crews. But the big men in the other boat crews would always make good-natured fun of the tiny little flippers, the tiny munchkins put on their tiny little feet prior to every swim. But somehow these little guys from every corner around the nation in the world always had the last laugh, swimming faster than everyone, reaching their soul long before the rest of us. SEAL training was a great equalizer. Nothing mattered but you to succeed. Not your color, not your ethnic background, not your education, not your social status. So if you want to change the world, measure a person by the size of their heart, not by the size of their flippers.
Thank you, Speaker Act. Speaker G.
I'm going to be reading Be Who You Are, Not Who Others Want You to Be by McKenna S. What does it mean to be who you are? Someone once told me that it's not what you want to be that makes you special, but it's how God made you that shows your true colors and makes you unique. A lot of people in this world are not what they appear to be, whether it's trying to impress others, or even trying to fit in. I used to be like a lot of people. All I wanted was to fit in and be like everyone else. However, I learned that trying to be like someone else won't get you anywhere in life, especially if they want you to act a certain way. Some people are affected by the way others treat them. I believe that no matter how much you want to be someone you're not, it is better to be yourself. If you are yourself, then other people respect you and love you for who you are. I used to be a girl who followed everyone. I didn't know who I was or who I wanted to be. It was difficult and a struggle for me to overcome the fear of being judged for just being me. I didn't appreciate what I had. When I used to hang out with a group of so-called friends, I acted just like them. I was a follower, and I thought if I didn't act like them, I wouldn't be accepted by them. I learned that when you're not yourself and you're trying to be someone you're not, you become a faceless person with no identity. It's hard for you to be yourself, especially when others want you to be like them. Those are the people that want to shut you down and make you feel bad about yourself. You just want to follow the other person and become just like them, but that takes away your identity. To be who you are means you don't have to listen to what anyone says about you. It's about loving yourself, and that's what most people cannot do. To me, being yourself means you have to appreciate who you are no matter what. I used to care what people thought about me, but a wise friend once told me to just be myself because that's the best part about me. Being myself actually helps me to know who I am. Don't do what other people want you to do. Everybody has a personality and can use it to his or her advantage. It's easy to follow others, but often difficult to say no. I believe that you should do what you believe in and not what others believe in. For example, if you think and want to play a sport, but your so-called friends disagree, I think you should play. Do what you're good at. If you love it, go for it, and don't let anyone hold you back or tell you that you cannot do it. To me, being yourself means you have to set aside your flaws and know that God made you special and loves you just the way you are, even though you're not perfect. If you remember that God loves you, then what other people say won't matter, because God made you unique, and all the special characteristics make you, you.
The Day the Word Came by Nicola Davis. The day the word came, there were flowers on the windowsill, and my father sent my baby brother back to sleep, and my mother made my breakfast, kissed my nose, and walked with me to school. That morning, I learned about volcanoes. I sang a song about how tadpoles turned at last to frogs. I made a picture of myself with wings. Then, just after lunch, while I watched the clouds shaped like a dolphin, word came. At first, just like a spattering of hail, a voice of thunder, then all smoke and fire and noise that I didn't understand. It came across the playground. It came into my teacher's face. It brought the roof down and turned my town to rubble. I can't say the words that tell you about the blackened hole that had been my home. All I can say is this: war took everything. War took everyone. I was ragged, bloody, all alone. I ran, rode on the back of trucks and buses, walked over fields and roads and mountains, in the cold and mud and rain, on a boat that leaked and almost sank, and up a beach where babies lay face down in the sand. I ran until I couldn't run, until I reached a row of huts. In a corner, with a dirty blanket and a door that rattled in the wind. But where had followed me, it was underneath my skin, behind my eyes, and in my dreams. It had taken possession of my heart. I walked and walked to try and drive word out of myself, to try and find a place it hadn't reached. But word was in the way that doors shut when I came down the street. It was in the way that people didn't smile and walked away. I came to a school. I looked in through the window. They were learning all about volcanoes, drawing birds, and singing. I went inside, my footsteps echoed in the hall, but the teacher didn't smile. She said, "There's no room for you. You see, there is no chair for you to sit on. You have to go away." And then I understood that word had got here too. I turned around, went back to the hut, the corner, and the blanket, and crawled back inside. The door banged. I thought it was the wind, but a child's voice spoke. "I brought you this," she said. "It was a chair for me to sit on and learn about volcanoes, frogs, and singing." She smiled and said, "My friends brought theirs too, so all the children here can come to school." Out of every hut a child came, and we walked on a road all lined up with chairs, pushing back the word with every step. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker H. Speaker I, please take the stage. We are almost halfway through the competition. Please make sure you give the second half of the students your perfect attention. And if you have to leave, please wait in between the speakers so we don't disrupt any of the speeches.
Dear future generations, I think I speak for the rest of us when I say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry we left you with our mess of a planet. I'm sorry we were too caught up in our own doings to do something. I'm sorry we put people in front of other people. For example, I'm guessing you probably know what is the Amazon desert, right? Well, believe it or not, it was once called the Amazon rainforest, and there were billions of trees there, all of them gorgeous and just, oh, you don't know much about trees, do you? Well, let me tell you, trees are amazing. I mean, we literally breathe the air they are creating. They clean up our pollution, our carbon. They store and purify water. They give us medicine that cures our diseases, food that feeds us, which is why I am so sorry to tell you that we burn them down. Cut them down with brutal machines, horrific out of 40 football fields every minute. That's 50% of all the trees in the world gone in the last 100 years. Why? For this, which wouldn't make me so sad if there wasn't so many pictures of leaves on it. See, when I was a child, I read about how the Native Americans had such consideration for the planet that they felt responsible for how they left it for the next 7 generations, which brings me great sorrow, because most of us today don't even care about tomorrow. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry we put profit above people, greed above need, the rule of gold above golden rule. I'm sorry we use nature as a credit card with no spending limit, overdrafting animals to extinction, stealing your chance to ever see their uniqueness or becomes friends with them. I'm sorry we poisoned the ocean so much that you can't even swim in them. But most of all, I'm sorry about our mindset, because we had the nerve to call this destruction progress. Hey Fox News, if you don't think climate change is a threat, I dare you to interview the thousands of homeless people in Bangladesh. See, while you're in your penthouse nestled, their homes were literally washed away beneath their feet due to the rising sea levels. And Sarah Palin, you said that you love the smell of fossil fuels. Well, I urge you to talk to the kids of Beijing who are forced to wear pollution masks just to go to school. See, you can ignore this, but the thing about truth is it can be denied, not avoided. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry that our footprint became a sinkhole and not a garden. I'm sorry we paid so much to ISIS. We paid so much to ISIS and very little to how fast the ice is melting in the Arctic.
I'm sorry we doomed you, and I'm sorry we couldn't find another planet to move to. I am so, you know what, cut the beat. I am not sorry. This future, I do not accept it, because an error does not become a mistake until you refuse to correct it. We can redirect this. How? Well, let me suggest that if a farmer sees a tree that is unhealthy, they don't look at the branches diagnose it, they look at the root. So like that farmer, we must look at the root, and not to the branches of government, and not to the politician run by corporations. We are the root, we are the foundation this generation, because whatever you're fighting for, racism, poverty, feminism, gay rights, or any type of equality, it won't matter in the least. Because if we don't all come together to save the environment, we will be equally extinct. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Speaker I. Speaker J.
Malala's speech to the United Nations. Dear brothers and sisters, we call upon all governments to fight against terrorism and violence, to protect children from brutality and harm. We call upon developed nations to support expansions of educational opportunities for girls in the developing world. We call upon communities to be tolerant, to reject prejudice based on caste, creed, sex, religion, or gender, to ensure freedom and equality for women so that they can flourish. We cannot all succeed when half of us are held back. We call upon our sisters around the world to be brave, embrace their strength within themselves, and to realize their full potential. Dear brothers and sisters, we want schools and education for every child's bright future. We will continue our journey to our destination of peace. No one can stop us. No one can stop us. We will speak for our rights, and we will fight for our rights. We must believe in the power and strength of our words. Our words can change the world. Because we are all together, united for the cause of education. And if we want to achieve our goal, then let us empower ourselves with the weapon of knowledge. And let us shield ourselves with unity and togetherness. Dear brothers and sisters, we must not forget that millions of people are suffering from poverty, injustice, and ignorance. We must not forget that millions of children are out of school. We must not forget that our sisters and brothers are waiting for a bright, peaceful future. So let us wage a global struggle against illiteracy, poverty, and terrorism. So let us pick up our books and pens. They are our most powerful weapon. One child, one teacher, one book, one pen can change the world. Education is the only solution. Education first. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker J. Speaker K.
I'm going to read a gun control speech by Gonzales. Every single person up here today, all these people should be home grieving, but instead, we're up here standing together because if all our government and president can do is send their thoughts and prayers, then it's time for victims to be the change we need to see. Since the time of the founding fathers, and since they added the Second Amendment to the Constitution, our guns have developed at a rate that leaves me dizzy. Our guns have changed, but our laws have not. We certainly do not understand why it should be harder to make plans with friends on the weekends than to buy an automatic or semi-automatic weapon. In Florida, to buy a gun, you do not need a permit. You do not need a license, and once you buy it, you do not need to register it. You do not need a permit to carry a concealed rifle or shotgun, and you could buy as many guns as you want at one time. I read something very powerful to me today. It was from a point of view of a teacher, and I quote, "When adults tell me I have the rights to own a gun, all I can hear is mine, 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 mine." Did you know there's a website, shootingtracker.com? Nothing in the title exclusively suggests that it's tracking the USA shootings, and yet does it need to address that? Because Australia had one mass shooting in 1999 in Port Arthur, and after the massacre introduced gun safety,
hasn't had one since. Japan has never had a mass shooting. Canada had one and the UK had 3, and they both introduced gun safety. And yet, here we are with websites dedicated to reporting these tragedies so that they can formulate it into statistics for your convenience. I watched an interview this morning, and I noticed that one of the questions was, do you think your children will have to go through another school shooter drill? And our response was, none of our neighbors will have to go through another school shooter drill. And when we've had our say with the government, and maybe the adults have gotten used to saying, it is what it is. But if us students have learned anything, it's that if you don't study, you will fail. And in this case, if you actively do nothing, people will just continuously end up dead. So it's time we start doing something. We will be the kids you read about in textbooks. Not because we're going to be another statistics about mass shootings in America, but because we are going to be the last mass shooting.
Thank you, Speaker K. Speaker L.
I will be reading the Black Family poem by Angelou. Because we have forgotten our ancestors, our children no longer give us honor. Because we have lost the path our ancestors cleared, kneeling in perilous undergrowth, our children cannot find their way. Because we have abandoned our old wills our ancestors have made for us, faded so far beyond our hearing, our children cannot hear us crying. Because we have abandoned our wisdom of mothering and fathering, our befuddled children give birth to children they neither want nor understand. Because we've forgotten how to love our children, because we have forgotten how to love, and the adversaries on our gates and hold us up to the middle of the world shouting, we guard the loveless, therefore we bind ourselves to one another, to embrace our lowest, to keep company with our loneliest, and to educate our illiterate, to feed our starving, to clothe our ragged, and to do all good things, knowing that we are more than keepers of our brothers and sisters. We are our brothers and sisters. And in honor of those who toil and employ God, in honor of those who toil and implore God, and in gratitude to the same God who took us out of hopeless desolation, we make this pledge.
Thank you, Speaker L. Speaker N, please stand.
Today I'll be speaking Put God First by Denzel Washington. Number 1, put God first. Put God first in everything you do. Everything you think you see in me, everything that I've accomplished, everything you think I have, and I have a few things, everything I have is by the grace of God. Understand that. It's a gift. 40 years ago, March 27, 1975, I was flunking out of college. I had a 1.7 grade point average. I hope none of y'all relate. I was sitting in my mother's beauty parlor, and I'm looking in the mirror, and I see behind me this woman under the dryer, and every time she looked up, and every time I looked up, she was looking at me. I didn't know who she was, and she said, somebody give me a pen, give me a pencil, I have a prophecy. March 27, 1975, she said, boy, you're gonna travel the world and speak to millions of people. Now, mind you, I flunked out of college. I'm thinking about joining the Army. I didn't know what I was going to do. And she said I'm going to travel the world and speak to millions of people. Well, I have traveled the world, and I have spoke to millions of people. But that's not the important thing. The most important thing is what she taught me that day. I've kept with God, and it kept me humble. I ain't always stick with him, but he always stick with me. So stick with him in everything you do. And if you think you want to do what you think I've done, then do what I've done and stick with God. I've been protected, I've been directed, I've been corrected. Number 2, fail big. That's right. fail big. Today is the beginning of the rest of your life, and it could be very frightening. So it's a mean world out there. So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances professionally. Don't be afraid to fail. There is an old IQ test that was 9 dots, and you have to draw 5 lines with the pencil without lifting the pencil. The only way to do it is to go outside the box. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to go outside the box. I think that's it, yeah.
Thank you, Speaker M. Speaker N, please stand. Speaker N.
Will be reading Obama's keynote speech 2004. Well, I say to them tonight, there's not a federal America and there's not a conservative America. There's not a Latino America and there's definitely not an Asian America. There's the United States of America. Pundits like to slice and dice our country into 2 states, red and blue states. Red states for Republicans and blue states for Democrats. Well, I've got news for them. We worship an awesome God, and we worship an awesome God in blue states, and we don't like federal agents poking around in our libraries in red states. We coach Little League in blue states, and yes, we've got some gay friends in red states. There are patriots who oppose war in Iraq, and there are patriots who supported war in Iraq.
Thank you, Speaker N. Speaker O, please stand.
Pain. The pain of losing someone you love is like reading the final page of a despairing book. When you rose up above earth and looked down on the things that put you in shackles, you beat your wings upon the air or you're free from disturbance live. When you rose up above earth, for others, it's like the last chapter ends. As the last chapter ends, you begin to notice how beautiful and perfect the plot always was. You appreciate the joy and even the pain as you read and thumb through every page, finally understanding the moral of the story. You realize you have reached the end of this novel. Although the last chapter is the most difficult to read, another great book yet awaits once you turn the final page. Maybe it won't be as despairing as the first one, but you realize that this book was your favorite all along. A free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till its currents end, and dips his rays in the orange sun waves and dares to claim the sky. But a bird that stalks down his narrow cage can seldom see through his bars of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. But a cage bird sings a fearful thrill of things unknown and longed for still, and his tune is heard on a distant hill, for the cage bird sings of freedom. The free bird thinks of another breeze, of trade winds soft and sighing trees, and the fat worm waiting on the dawn bright lawn, for the cage bird sings of freedom. The free bird thinks of another thrill of things unknown but long for still, and his tune is heard on a distant hill, for the cage bird sings of freedom. And just like that cage bird, there should always be hope. Hope because people survive wars, disasters, pain. People survive sadness and even hurt. So why wouldn't one of these people survive this? Have hope because it's the thing that perches in the soul and sings a tune without words. It never stops at all. And sweetness in the gale is heard, and storm must be the storm that could have bashed the little bird that kept so many warm. It's heard in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, but yet never an exterminate. It's asked the crumble. Pain describes me on a daily basis. I picture myself as a crayon, coloring in harder and harder every day. I keep going and going, knowing that someday my picture will be perfect. Trying to create the perfect picture that was never there to begin with. But I can't faze myself. I have to keep going and going, knowing that someday my picture will be perfect. But it'll take a little longer than I expected. Well, through all the hurt and pain one experiences on the daily, better days are coming and you'll find another book.
Thank you, Speaker O. Speaker P, please take the stage.
A Children's Heaven by Frank McElhenney. Now, Who Will Weep for the Children by Frank McElhenney and My Children's Heaven by Francis Ayers. The heavens are clothed with darkness, and the sun has fled away. Who will weep for all the children on this most terrible day? As dozens of clouds go passing by, my heart so thoroughly broken and is wounded in so many ways. Who can heal this broken heart of mine on this most awful of days? Meanwhile, our precious Master awaits, sitting upon a golden cloud with a gentle voice and a loving smile, greeting each and every precious child, each with memories from distant earth, a mother's kiss, a father's smile. Happy times filled with endless laughs, days too numerous, but none to last. I cast my eyes into the heavens, even as this world tears away at my soul. And my eyes will pierce the darkness, even as this horror takes its toll. But here in this most holy place, be dazzled by endless light and love, assured of seeing someday soon, you will see your loved ones that they have left behind. They travel on the train of clouds, passing through many rooms, with faces sparkling like newborn babes. They're into pop-up, scrams, and aunts. With love, they dance and sing, with joy for loved ones that they have left behind. So many years have come and gone, and so as sadness, lives are lived. My only hope is in the sun above, despite all the darkness around. And I will remember all the children, and in his arms they shall be found. And woe unto them that harm these ones. Their soul shall never find rest, but a millstone around their necks. And they can be cast into the sea, for those who harm these ones will suffer eternally. Take hold of my hand, you moms and dads. My heart weeps to see such pain. And hold on to hope, and let not love die, because you will see your little ones again.
Thank you, Speaker P. Speaker Q, please take the stage. Audience, I'd like to thank you for your perfect patience. We're now toward the end of the competition. Please make sure you give the last contestant as much attention as you gave your first contestant.
let America be America again. Let it be the dream it used to be. Let it be the pioneer on a plane seeking a home where he himself is free. Let it be the dream dreamers dream. Let it be that great, strong land of love where never kings connive nor tyrants scheme, where one man be crushed by one above. Oh, let my land be a land crowned with no false patriotic reef, but opportunity is real and life is free. Equality in the air we breathe, but equality was never given to me, nor freedom in this homeland of the free. Say, who are you that mumbles in the dark? And who are you that draws your veil across the stars? I am the poor white, fooled and pushed apart. I am the Negro bearing slavery scars. I am the red man driven from the land. I am the immigrant clutching to the hope I seek, finding only the same old stupid plan of dog eats dog, of mighty crush the weak. I am the young man full of strength and hope, tangled in that ancient endless chain of power, profit, gain, of grab the land, of grab the gold, of grab the ways of satisfying needs, of work the men, of take the pay, of owning everything for one's own greed. I am the people, humble, hungry, mean, hungry yet today despite the dream, beaten yet today, oh pioneer. I am the man who never got ahead, the poorest worker, bartered through the years, and yet I am the man who dreamt our basic dream in the old world while still a serf of kings who dreamt a dream so strong, so brave, so true, that even yet its mighty and daring scenes, and every brick and stone, and every furrow turn that made America the land it has become. I am the man who sailed those early seas to find what I thought to be my home, who left dark Isle shores and Poland's plains and England's grassy lay, torn from black Africa strands, to build a homeland of the free. The free? Who said the free? Not me, surely not me. The millions in relief today, the millions shot down when we strike, the millions who have nothing for our pay, for all the dreams we've dreamed and all the songs we've sung, for all the flags we've hung and all the hopes we've held, the millions who have nothing for our pay except the dream that's almost dead today. Oh, let America be America again. The land that has yet been, but yet must be the land where every man is free. The land that's yours, the poor man's, Indian, Negro, me. Whose sweat and blood, whose faith and pain, whose hands at the foundry, whose plow in the rain, must bring back our mighty dream again. So call me any ugly name you choose. The steel of freedom does not stain. For those who live on people's lives like leeches, we will bring back America. And oh yes, I say it plain, America never was America to me. And yet I swear this oath, it will be. Out of the rake and ruin of our gangsters' death, out of the rape and rot of graft, out of the stealth and lies, we, the people, must redeem the plants, the land, the mines, the rivers, the mountains, all the stretch of these great green states to make America again.
Thank you, Speaker Hughes. Speaker R, please take the stage.
President Barack Obama's acceptance Nobel Peace Prize speech. I receive this honor with deep gratitude and great humility. It is an award that speaks to our highest aspirations to have all the cruelty and hardships of our world. We are not mere prisoners of fate. Our actions matter and can bend history in the direction of justice. And yet, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the considerable controversy that your generous decision has generated. In part, this is because I'm at the beginning and not the end of my labors on the world stage. Compared to some of the giants of history who have received this prize, my accomplishments are slight. And then there are the men and women around the world who have been jailed and beaten in the pursuit of justice. Those who toil in humanitarian organizations to relieve suffering, the unrecognized millions whose quiet acts of courage and compassion has inspired even the most hardened of cynics. But perhaps the most profound issue surrounding my receipt of this prize is the fact that I am the commander-in-chief of a nation that's in the midst of 2 wars. I do not bring with me today a defensive solution to the problems of war. What I do know is that meeting these challenges will require the same vision hard work, and persistence as the men and women who have acted so boldly decades ago. And it will require us to think in new ways of the notion of just war and the imperatives of a just peace. Let me now speak of 3 ways that we could build a just and lasting peace. First, in dealing with those nations that break rules and laws, I believe that we must develop alternatives to violence that are tough enough to change behavior, or if we want a lasting peace. Then the words of the international community must mean something. Those regimes that break rules must be held accountable. Sanctions must exact a real price. This brings me to my second point, the nature of peace that we seek. For peace is not merely the absence of visible conflict. Only a just peace based upon the inherent rights and dignity of every individual can truly be lasting. And yet, all too often, these words are ignored. In some countries, the failure to uphold human rights is excused by the false suggestion that these are Western principles, foreign to local cultures or stages to a nation's development. Third, a just peace includes not only civil and political rights, it must encompass economic security and opportunity. For true peace is not freedom from fear, but freedom from want. We can understand that oppression will always be with us and still strive for justice. Clear-eyed, we can understand that war will always be with us and still strive for justice. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Speaker R. Speaker S, please take the stage.
Kid hero. I always dream of being a hero. I try everything to become super. I let a spider bite me. No spider powers, just lots of itching. Try standing too close to a microwave oven, hoping that the radiation will change me. Nothing. And I got in trouble for making so many bags of popcorn, but I brought it out of school and out of popcorn party. I was a hero that day, so I guess it kind of worked. I love being a hero. I love helping people, and I love making them happy. And I hate bad guys. I hate creeps who hurt people. You know, there's just one kid at school. He's always hurting people. I am sick of him hurting us. Maybe, damn it, hold on. Maybe if I eat more school lunches, they'll look ready right there. If I get enough green hot dogs and brown ketchup in me, something is bound to happen. I'm getting excited. Got the kids stuff.
Thank you, Speaker S. Speaker T, please take the stage.
Frederick Douglass, what to an American slave is the 4th of July? Fellow citizens, pardon me and allow me to ask, why am I called upon to speak here today? What have I, or those I represent, to do with your national independence? But such is not the state of the case. I say it with a sad sense of disparity. The sunlight that brought life and healing to you has brought strifes and death to me. The 4th of July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice, I must mourn. To join your joyous anthems is an inhuman mockery and sacrilegious irony. Do you mean, citizens, to mock me by asking me to speak here today? What to an American slave is the 4th of July? I answer, it's a day that reveals to him more than all the days of the year the gross injustice and cruelty which he is the constant victim. To him, your celebration is a sham. The unholy license which he is the victim, the cruelty. To him, your rejoicing is a swelling vanity. Your rejoicing is swelling vanity and heartless. Your denunciations and tyrants. Your hollow mockery and prayers and sermons are to him fraud, deception, impotence, and hypocrisy.
Thank you, Speaker T. Speaker T, please take the stage.
Kill Them with Love by Buna Muhammad. Show me a stranger and I'll show you a friend you haven't met yet. Because the obstacle in any way is usually just one of the prices of success. And people are more than numbers. To crack a smile is really no stress. Divide my time like economics, I love to say hi and buy less. Multiply first impressions by everything you might have guessed. Prejudice takes time, but my time is business. And this just makes big dollars and cents. Why would you hate when love just costs less? In fact, the muscles it takes to make a frown is way more work than to turn it upside down. But you hate it when I'm polite, can't stand it when I'm sincere. Call me all these names wondering why I'm still just standing here? Mainly because your ignorance leads me to believe that you just need a hug. I've been public enemy number 1 ever since I learned how to kill them with love. I'm a psychotic serial lover, seriously considering only complimenting our mothers, because whether you like it or not, I am your sister, a teddy bear terrorist chilling with my well-mannered crew. Yeah, you might be a racist, but I'm still gonna hold the door open for you, cause seriously, dude, ain't no need for the attitude. I ain't mad at you. I had bad days too. Here's my celly. Let's talk. I'm a great listener too. Family driving you crazy, man? I know I ain't do. Just let me know. I love kids. I can be a babysitter too. Yeah, boy, cause I'm nice like that. I'll even watch your car if you promise that you'll be right back. So relax and be cool. Ain't no point in lying to you. I am a servant, and my master sees all that I do. So tell me what you need, dude. $1? Here, take 2. I'll chew. May the Lord bless you, guide you, and make things easy for you. Disrespecting is just what I do, and it's past tolerating. It's on the path of understanding and appreciating you. So tell me what you're gonna do when the love comes for you. insult my heritage? We're both from Adam and Eve, fool. Oh, snap. How you like that? You gave me extra change, and I gave it right back. I let people pass when they want to switch lanes, because if it was me, I hope they do the same. You butchered my name? Yeah, this is okay. Happens all the time. I won't correct it anyways. Yeah, this may seem strange, but I'm a bee at change. Improve every day to prove their rudeness is lame. I believe in modesty and try to lower my gaze. And if everything is from above, then everything's the same. I ain't impressed by money, cars, clothes, or fame. I am a Muslim, and the trinkets of this world don't mean a thing. We can all live in this world together, and if you don't agree, I won't even judge. I will just kill you all with love. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker U. Speaker B, please take the stage. Audience, it is at this stage of the competition that you are the most important. The letters are drawn randomly so the contestants that are last did not choose to do so. So we want to make sure we give everybody our attention, just the same as we did with Speaker A.
Phenomenal Woman by Maya Angelou. Pretty women wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion model size. But when I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies. I say it's in the reach of my arms, the span of my hips, the stride in my step, and the curl of my lips. 'Cause I am a woman, phenomenal woman. That's me. I'll walk into a room just as cool as you please. And to a man, the fellow stands or falls down to their knees. Then they swarm around me like a hive of honeybees. I say it's in the fire of my eyes, the flash of my teeth, the grace in my style, and the joy of my feet. 'Cause I am a woman, phenomenal woman. That's me. Men themselves had wondered what they see in me. They try so much, but they can't touch my inner mystery. But when I try to show them, they say they still can't see. I say it's in the art of my back, the sun of my smile, the rise of my breast, and the grace of my style. 'Cause I am a woman, phenomenal woman. That's me. Now you understand just why my head's not bowed. I don't have to jump, shout, or even talk real loud. When you see me passing, it's all to make you proud. I say it's in the click of my heels, the bend of my hair, the palm of my hand, and the need for my care. 'Cause I am a woman, phenomenal woman. That's me. Thank you.
Speaker W.
The Wild Hare by Ariel S. It was evening and time for my little sister and me to take our showers and get ready for bed. As I passed the mirror in the bathroom, there it was, a wild hare growing right in the middle of my forehead, threatening the beginning of a third eyebrow. I went into the shower trying to think of a solution. Then I spotted the took it and started shaving off that savage hair. Usually, I would trust my mom's advice in this sort of situation, but it was just too complicated for her, or so I thought. Well, anyway, while I was fighting the stray hair, the razor slipped, and I ended up shaving off half of my eyebrow. Then I did what any girl would do in this sort of situation. I tried to even them out, and when I was finished, I looked in the mirror. It was a disaster. I tried to think of a way to fix this mess. Thankfully, I found a way to hide my mistake. I put my bangs over my eyebrows. It worked perfectly. Just then, my parents called me out to come and say goodnight. Nobody noticed my eyebrows, but they did notice my little sister's eyebrows. Turns out, while I was fighting the stray hair, she found another razor in the drawer and began copying me. Now her eyebrows were completely missing. My parents looked very confused until they finally noticed that half of my eyebrows were gone as well. After a lot of questioning, I finally broke down and confessed to what had happened. I thought my parents would be mad at me forever until my mom took me aside to tell me that a similar thing happened to her when she was a preteen, but in her case, it was her underarms. While away at a summer camp on swimming day, my mother was extremely embarrassed because she had some long hairs in her armpits. Her mother said she was too young to shave yet, but she went against her mother's wishes, borrowed a friend's razor, and shaved her armpits anyways. Then she wrote her mother a confession letter telling her that she had done a terrible thing and that she was very sorry. At the end of this very long 2-page letter, she finally told her mother what she had done. While reading through the letter, her mother was so worried about this terrible thing that her daughter had done that by the end of the letter, she laughed because she was just so relieved to find out about what had actually happened. She totally understood how my mom felt, just like how now my mom totally understood me. This ended up bringing my mom and me even closer. Still, I wouldn't suggest you try to shave your eyebrows to get closer to your mom. I suggest you find a better way to get closer to your mother. As for my little sister, it took a long time for her eyebrows to grow back. From then on, I've learned to be a better example for her, because she still copies everything I do.
Thank you, Speaker W. Speaker X, please take the stage.
A speech by Mary Smith. Inside every adult lurks a graduation speaker dying to get out. Some world-weary pundit eager to pontificate onto the life of young people who'd rather be rollerblading. Most of us will never be invited to sow our words of wisdom to an audience of cap and gowns. But there's no reason we can't entertain ourselves with the Guide to Life for Graduates. I encourage anyone over 26 to try this. And thank you for indulging my attempt. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2018, wear sunscreen. If I could offer you only one tip for the future, sunscreen would be it. The long-term benefits of sunscreen have been proved by scientists, whereas the rest of my advice has no basis more reliable than my own meandering experience. I will dispense this advice now. Enjoy the power and beauty of your youth. Never mind, you will not understand the power and beauty of your youth until they've faded. But trust me, 20 years from now,
You'll look back at photos of yourself and recall in a way you can't grasp now how much possibility lay before you and how fabulous you really looked. You are not as fat as you imagine. Don't worry about the future, or worry, but know that worrying is as effective as trying to solve an algebra equation by chewing bubblegum. The real troubles in your life are apt to be things that never cross your worried mind. The kind that blindside you at 4 p.m. on some idle Tuesday. Do one thing every day that scares you. Sing. Don't be reckless with other people's hearts. Don't put up with people who are reckless with yours. Flaws. Don't waste your time on jealousy. Sometimes you're ahead. Sometimes you're behind. The race is long, and in the end, it's only with yourself. Remember compliments you receive. Forget the insults. If you succeed in doing this, tell me how. Keep your old love letters. Throw away your old bank statements. Stretch. Don't feel guilty if you don't know what you want to do with your life. Some of the most interesting people I know didn't know at 22 what they wanted to do with their lives. Some of the most interesting 40-year-olds I know still don't. Get plenty of calcium. Be kind to your knees. You'll miss them when they're gone. Maybe you'll marry, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll have children, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll divorce at 40. Maybe you'll dance the funky chicken at your 75th wedding anniversary. Whatever you do, don't congratulate yourself too much, or berate yourself either. Your choices are half chance. So are everybody else's. Enjoy your body. Use it every way you can. Don't be afraid of it, or what other people think of it. It's the greatest instrument you'll ever own. Dance, even if you have nowhere to do it but your living room. Read the directions, even if you don't follow them. Do not read beauty magazines. They will only make you feel ugly. Get to know your parents. You never know when they'll be gone for good. Be nice to your siblings. They're the best link to your past and the ones most likely to stick with you in the future. Understand that friends come and go, but with the precious few, you should hold on. Work hard to bridge the gaps in geography and lifestyle, because the older you get, the more you need the people who knew you when you were young. Live in New York City once, but leave before it makes you hard. Live in Northern California once, but leave before it makes you soft. Travel. Excerpts are inalienable truths. Prices will rise. Politicians will philander. You too will get old. And when you do, you'll fantasize that when you were young, prices were reasonable, politicians were noble, and children respected their elders. Respect your elders. Don't expect anyone else to support you. Maybe you'll have a trust fund. Maybe you'll have a wealthy spouse. But you never know when either one might run out. Don't mess too much with your hair, or by the time you're 40, it will look 85. Be careful whose advice you buy, but be patient with those who supply it. Advice is a form of nostalgia. Dispensing it is a way of fishing it from the disposal, wiping it off, painting over the ugly parts, and recycling it for more than it's worth. But trust me on the sunscreen.
Thank you, Speaker Hess. Speaker Y, please take the stage. Audience, I ask at this time that we recess. This is our last speaker for the day. Please make sure you give her your excellent attention.
Depression, an original. Depression. It grabs those insecure girls and boys and makes them suffer, and if you don't get help, it continues for years. You repeat the famous two words every day. I'm fine. Are you though? You're already going through family drama, but now you're having trust issues. Mood swings. And a difficult time eating. All this stuff adds up and you start doing things that you might regret. You've cried so many times that your tears are hot and you've lost so many friends that you've stopped trying. But you have to keep trying. Even though now it feels like everything is wrong, some moment in your life, everything will go right. Just keep trying. Keep trying even if you have to start over. Keep trying even if you have to make unbearable sacrifices. Keep trying to prove that you are strong. Take it from me that trying is better than giving up. Even if you don't realize it now, there's someone in your life by your side, and they're trying just as hard as you are. The days go by slowly. You realize something is different. You haven't fought with your parents in a week. The friends you let go of, they start to get bad labels. The negative vibes you normally carry around aren't there anymore. You've accomplished something. You start to gain new friends. You start to eat normally again. You can finally have a normal conversation with your parents. The two words that you normally say doesn't slip from your mouth again. Your grades start to rise. Are you proud? You should be. You smile. You've changed, and this change that you made is amazing. Thank you.
At this time, we will gather the judges' ballots and we will tabulate the scores. This is time for you to use the restroom if you need to. And City Honors 5th grade ensemble will play for
Hands, and I saw our Chief Academic Officer, Mrs. Botticelli. If you can please come up for the shaking of the hands and presentations to our participants. Yes.
I just wanted to say, I judged the speakers, and I want to tell you all that you're all winners. Even though there'll be 4 people who will receive the trophies, you are all winners today. As long as I've been public speaking, that's a long time before you guys were born, and then some, I always get nervous when I get to the microphone. And so it's not easy to get up in front of a crowd, a group of your peers and adults, and speak. I commend you for your courage. I commend you for your hard work to get to here, because I know you've worked very hard to do this, and I want you to know that we appreciate you all. You're all winners. And as Dr. Cash said at the beginning of this presentation, or before your presentation, that what you've learned today about public speaking is going to help you throughout your career. Whatever you do, whenever you're called on to address a crowd, you can look back at this experience and the work you put in, and you can know that you've learned a very, very important skill. So thank you all for participating today, and whoever wins, congratulations, but all of you remember that you all have won today. Thank you.
So we can start over here.
Do you want me to introduce the students and call them up? Yes. They're right here, in order. Now for the part you've been waiting for. I'm going to announce each student up to the stage and let you know their name and what school they're from, and this is your opportunity to give them the applause that you wanted to give them after their speech was over. So, bringing up to the stage speaker A, Amelia Colder from City Honors, under the direction of Mr. Richards. Come on up, Amelia. Should be. Uh-oh. Somebody touch. Speaker B is Pavel Raman from School 45 under the direction of Michael Parzamiso. Speaker C, Talea Rouse from We want to make sure we get the picture right. Pavo. Talea, please come on up to the stage. Talea Rouse from Performing Arts under the direction of Kelly Butte. Speaker D, Imani Tompkins from School 74 under the direction of Margaret Kroom. Speaker E, Amani Hogue from School 89 under the direction of Ashley Elliott. Speaker F from International Prep, Shafi Chowdhury under the direction of Kim Nixon-Williams and Olivia Antecchi. Speaker G, Autumn Giordano from Performing Arts under the direction of Kelly Butte. Autumn. Speaker H, Sonita Tajik from School 31 under the direction of Armitha Brown and Krista Caruso. Speaker I, Iman Hassan from 74 under the direction of Margaret Kroom and Ilya Wankowski. Speaker J. Swarhaymar from School 45 under the direction of Michael Parzamiso. Speaker K. J. Lanique Singleton from School 6 under the direction of Brianna Lanoy. Speaker L. Leah Fogel from School 97 under the direction of Brenda James. Speaker M. Javel Lincoln from International Prep under the direction of Kim Nixon Williams and Olivia Antecki. Speaker N. Keeson Bryce Hall from School 97 under the direction of Brenda James. Speaker O. Ria Juma from School 53 under the direction of Kim Goodband. Speaker P. Janae Mack from School 72 under the direction of Denise Chapman Acosta. Speaker Q. Emmanuel Sindima from School 89 under the direction of Ashley Elliott. Speaker R. Sadiq from School 19 under the direction of Colleen Waddington. Speaker S. Justin Williams from School 80 under the direction of Trina Land. Speaker T. Lena Al Raishi from School 37 under the direction of Christine Nixon Douglas. Speaker U. Jasmine Cameron from School 31 under the direction of Armitha Brown and Krista Caruso. Speaker V. Nevia Nelson from School 80 under the direction of Trina Land. Speaker W. Amina Borden from School 72 under the direction of Denise Chapman Acosta. Speaker X. Jada Cooper from School 32 under the direction of Gabriel Russell. And Speaker Y. Nyasia Brooks from Community School 53 under the direction of Kim Goodband. Give me the seat. All right, now the moment you've been waiting for. We're going to announce fourth place first. Fourth place in the 111 Richmond Speaking Contest is speaker V. Nevaeh Nelson from School 80 under the direction of Trina Land. Third place in the 111th Richmond Speaking Contest is speaker C. Talea Rouse from Performing Arts. From Performing Arts. Second place in the 111th Richmond Speaking Contest is speaker E. Imani Hogue from School 89. And the first place winner of the 111th Richmond Speaking Contest is speaker W. Amina Borden from School 72. At this time, we invite parents and proud principals and friends to take pictures of the participants. Students are invited to a reception in the Gaylord Conference Center, which is out these doors to your left. The 111th Richmond Speaking Contest has now come to a close. Thank you.